It's my great pleasure to present Site 2, the Quaternary Phlegrean Fields volcanic complex from Italy. Phlegrean means the burning fields. And here we have a beautiful image of the fumaroles with the sulfur deposits. The Phlegrean Fields, a classic area for the study of volcanic activities and volcanic hazard assessment since the 18th century. I am the co-author on this with two colleagues from ISPRA in Italy and with Martin Rodwick from the UK. The Phlegrean Fields is located in the south of Italy, in the region of Campania, in the province of Naples. Located here, just west of Vesuvius, on the Gulf of Pozzuoli. It also includes Solfatara, the Temple of Serapis, and Monte Nuovo. The geological context. Now, it's a 13-kilometer wide area, a nested volcanic caldera complex. It's active roughly 80,000 years. It presents volcanic structures that result from two major collapses related to the emplacement of the companion ignimbrite 39,000 years ago, which we can see traced here on the map, and from the Neapolitan yellow tuff 15,000 years ago, which is the internal ring here. The last eruption was the formation of Monte Nuovo in 1538. Now, I would also like to point out here, we have the different dome structures, but we also have a raised sea cliff structure here along the Gulf of Pozzuoli. The description, there are 7 volcanic phases. We see structures of tuff cones and rings, lava domes. There is also intense ground deformation generated by the uplift and subsidence phenomena within the area. High temperature hydrothermal fluid discharge that you can see mainly at Solfatara. Boiling pools, and the sulfurous deposits that we can see. There is also evidence of vertical ground movement since Roman time. And you can see this trace here on the bottom diagram. Pozzuoli has undergone several episodes of bradismo in the raising of the coastline by about 4.5 meters over the last decades. It's also an area that has been monitored in great detail, not just recently, but also down through the last 2 centuries. It has a volcano capable of producing an eruption of level 8, but there is also evidence of this event, historical event, with the emplacement of the companion ignimbrite, which was thought to be associated with the disappearance of the Neanderthals 39,000 years ago. So here we see this photo where the Phlegrean Fields underlies an extensive urban area. The scientific tradition connected with the Phlegrean Fields, we start already in the 16th century, when travels to the south of Italy also included travels to see the volcanoes, the Italian volcano area, and the activities of the volcanoes. In the 16th century, this is mainly by travelers, just travelers traveling in Italy to see the cultural sites within the south of Italy. But there are descriptions already from the eruption of 1538, on the 28th of September, the eruption and formation of Monte Nova took place over a period of 4 days. And here we have a local account that was published in 1539 by Falconi, dell'incendio di Pozzuolo. Now this account was translated also in English. It was brought back by travelers that went to Italy, and this became a source of evidence to debates that were already starting in the 17th century. And here we have the traveler John Ray, who went to see the area of the Italian volcanoes, and particularly also Pozzuoli in 1662. And he describes this area as fire that broke out from the ground along the sea coast. Now, he was a member of the Royal Society, and he brought back his own description of the area, his own geological interpretation of the area, drawings, but also specimens. And these were brought back for discussion and debate within scientific societies and academies. And these were relevant to theories at the end of the 17th century on the central fire of the earth, such as the Mundus Subterraneus by Athanasius Kircher in 1668. Moving on to the 18th century, particularly in the second half of the 18th century, we now have travelers who are coming to visit this area who are interested in the geology. They're interested in observing and noting the volcanic structures on the landscape, the volcanic products, and we have the wonderful work of William Hamilton from 1776 to 1779, the Campi Flegrei, observations on the volcanoes of the two Sicilies as they have been communicated to the Royal Society. Now, William Hamilton was the ambassador, the English ambassador, based in Naples for 15 years. And he carried out explorations for geology, for documenting the structures that he saw, for documenting the volcanic eruptions as they happened, and also those that were older than the ones that he was observing. So he had a concept of time. There was a concept that these volcanic eruptions were older and were taking place over a certain limit of time. His work and these beautiful paintings by Fabris, they showed the landscape. They showed the fumaroles and the sulfurous deposits. They showed the Bay of Naples. They showed the domes and the mountains. Here we see also the Temple of Serapis. This is another map by Pietro and Francesco La Vega from 1778, which shows the different dome structures around the Gulf of Pozzuoli. Now, these works by Hamilton, they were relevant to theories of the time by Werner, the Neptunist, and James Hutton and the volcanists. The naturalists were attracted to this area in the second half of the 18th century, particularly for observing structures in the field. The geologists were no longer content to receive accounts. They wanted to see this in person. They wanted to visit the area, make their own interpretations of these structures. And here we have some famous travelers, such as Johann Jakob Ferber, the Swedish mineralogist, Goethe, who spent 2 years in the area, Lazzaro Spallanzani, who we saw before, and the beautiful figure of he entering the volcano, and many others who came to the area at this time. In the 19th century, the Phlegrean Fields is now a classic location on the geological itinerary to Italy. any geologist, naturalist going to Italy to see the volcanoes, the Phlegrean Fields was part of this itinerary. And here we have, they were going to observe the phenomena related to the active and extinct volcanoes, the products of subterranean fire. They were instrumental in lifting land above water and in creating mountains. So what was of interest here also was the relative level, the sea level, between the Mediterranean in the bay and the land. They were observing the changes in the height, the relative height. And of course, we have here the famous work by Charles Lyell from 1830, where he was observing the evidence of actual causes that could be observed for changes in the Earth's surface. And Lyell visited the Phlegrean Fields in 1828, where he observed the borings on the columns of the Temple of Serapis. And this, for him, was evidence within the time span of human history, so within the time from the Roman time, so within 2,000 years, he had evidence of actual causes on the Earth's surface, but within human time, human history. And of course, we have this iconic image, which is the frontispiece of the Principles of Geology, which was a visual icon of Lyell's conception of the Earth as a system in dynamic equilibrium. So the main arguments for the recognition of the geosite. It was a pivotal site in the debates on the history of the Earth since the 18th century. Within the debate on Neptunism, volcanism, and Plutonism. It was also pivotal within the craters of elevation as to how the volcanic features were formed. And of course, within the debate on uniformitarianism. It's also one of the most studied areas in the world for active volcanism and for hazard assessment. So, thank you very much. Go to Milmakot.